anything could be possible. Could be seeing a potential 2v1 swap for the purple side though. But I'm sure the LoLdo faction probably don't care too much about that because they have the Vayne pick, and free farm Vayne is always a good thing, no doubt. And taking a look at the team fight, not really sure about the team fight with the Karma in there. Karma's not really she's more of a pokey champion, so they might be looking for a pokish comp. Not really looking to pick a big fight. So game loads a little late, no problem. The general throwing the Demacian standard in to do a little scouting. Okay, so once again, you are watching the LoL Summer League semifinals. This is the playoffs, and we're down to 4 teams. The winner of this team will advance to the final match tomorrow at 2 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. They'll face the winner of We Make You Fizz and Taylor Swift Fan Club. This is a 3 out of 5. It's still game 1, so can't wait to see what these teams have for us right out of the gate. Already we're seeing some little unorthodox strategies, going with a double 80 carry plus the Karma pick. That's not something that you see very often. And it looks like both teams are pretty content to just play nice. Sneaky Deez is already taking his position up top, and it will be a 2v1 lane swap. Not surprised whatsoever with that Caitlyn. For pushing, they're gonna try to get that tower really fast. Blue team helping out the general, secure his buff smitelessly. He'll probably go straight to his blue. Oh no, he's not. He's gonna actually take his rates first. Well, actually, it looks like he's going in for a play. Very early aggressive gank, possibly to try to force something out from Ezreal. But he's going to have to do it fast because Ezreal's going to hit level 2 very soon. And it looks like nothing can be had from that. Ezreal hits level 2, probably leveled up his Arcane Shift by then, so nothing came of that, unfortunately. A lot of time lost for the general right there. And the 2v1 not going very well for KT Nickel. He's just getting beaten down by Sniper Worm right there. Already below half and forced to chug those pots. And the real question now is going to be which tower will go down first, and will they even trade towers? It looks like Math Team plus Nick is already making a 3-man offensive onto that top turret. And the general is still just doing his usual clear. So yeah, Sneaky Deeb's still level 1. They're doing a very good job of just zoning him from the experience, and they're shoving that tower very fast, whereas the LoLdo faction not shoving that tower quickly at all. So I guess it's not really a question now. But if they get this condemned, that's a first blood. One more shot. Oh, he didn't have his tumble up, but the general will secure that for him. A little unfortunate he couldn't get that last shot right there. And yeah, as I predicted, that 3-man push took the tower down really fast. So the LoLdo faction needs to hurry up and respond with a tower. It doesn't look like they're going to get it on this wave. They're going to have to try and get it on the next wave, but Math Team plus Nick is making a beeline for this turret, trying to see if they could salvage it before it goes down. But I don't know if they're going to be able to get it. Yeah, a little too late. Nasus going really hard. Takes a chunk of damage right there and gets knocked away from the Condemn. And the Thresh Escape Express. Make sure that everyone gets out of there. Easy peasy Japanesey. So, yeah, this is becoming a pretty standard trend nowadays with the early turret trades. And it looks like Math Team plus Nick making a really aggressive attempt on Baron. The general flags in for basically no reason. That was a very questionable call right there. And that's gonna cost his team multiple deaths. Yeah. So they trade 2 for 1 right there. Karma did not die. However, they did stop the dragon, but still trading those kills not in their favor all the same. I'm not really sure why he went in so early. He might have thought that they were bursting it down faster, but Nasus wasn't 6 yet, so he did not have his ulti to burn down the dragon yet. He might have been able to wait a little bit longer, but we'll never know now. It's all in the past. And right now, Math Team plus Nick continuing to play the accelerated game plan. Just pushing down more outer objectives. They had a huge creep wave stacked up here, and that's still going to do a considerable chunk to the tower. That tower will fall the next time they decide to push it down. Taking a look at the CS counts really quick as Sneaky Deebs eats a ton of top right there. He's going to have to back that up. Taking a look at the CS counts, mids are kind of even-ish. I actually have the top and the jungle reverse, my bad. Jungles are pretty even. Sneaky Deebs was able to collect more CS there, mainly because Karma was busy fighting so much, and she did die, so can't be hurt. The AD carries are pretty even as well, so right now it's all about the objectives. That slight gold lead, actually the slight gold lead is still in favor of the LoLdo faction, but had they gotten that dragon, Math Team plus Nick would have a clear advantage, but we'll see when they try to make another pass at that dragon. Nasus hitting 6 is usually a pretty big signal. Nice arcane shift out from Ezreal to avoid the knockup, and he will back that up. Rengar kind of taking a look-see around the side, thinking maybe I could catch them getting greedy, but they have that warded out very nicely, so they will be able to escape that. As we see, Caitlyn farming it up, not interested in freezing, just wants to keep all the lanes pushed out, but the LoLdo faction is waiting for the creep wave to come up. Item-wise, not a whole lot to speak of. Ezreal did rush a Shen. That is a decent rush on Ezreal. Most Ezreals, though, opt for a tier of the goddess. He may not be going for blue Ezreal. We'll have to wait and see. He might just be building things in a different order. Zyra with the Seeker's Armguard early. Bunch of long swords for Rango. No surprise there. And Seeker's Armguard as well for Karma. So both mages on each team thinking a lot about the AD threats. Rengar is always a very scary AD threat. So, just coming around the 8.5 minute mark, towers are even, kills are even. Slight gold advantage to the LoLdo faction. But this is still far from over anybody's game as the general passes the blue off to Soul Seizures and see if he can use that to clear that wave out. And oh, Rango time! Oh, but he couldn't commit to the last hit. And the general has no mana. Oh my gosh, the general is so low. He is very lucky that all the other team members were not there. If Nasus had been in anywhere in the remote area, that would have been an all-in right there, for sure. So yeah, as I was talking about the AD threats, that's the danger of Rango right there. He just kind of all-ins you for free. You can't really see him unless you have an Oracles or Pink Wards everywhere, so it's unfortunate that he wasn't able to get one more hit off. And Ezreal being the slippery champion that he is, and the fact that the general had no mana, so he couldn't really follow up after that. His Cataclysm wasn't available yet, but still, very unfortunate. Ezreal didn't even have to use his flash. And yeah, the purple team making the call, hey, this tower is really low, let's try to get it down. But the general has hit level 6 now thanks to his clearing. So Cataclysm is on the table now, so that is a problem. Nasus does have flash though, so he won't be trapped in there if he doesn't want to be next to Jarvan. So that is a nice option for Nasus. Usually Nasus is opt to take Ghost just because it synergizes with his kit, the Wither and the Spirit Fire and all that. It just allows him to chase opponents down for a long period of time. But the flash does have its merits as well, especially with Cataclysm. So yeah, this game is kind of slowed down now. Both teams are kind of just playing defense, just keeping their lanes neutral. Little damage on the towers here and there, but nothing too big to speak of. Ooh, Rengar with those Moby boots, so he's planning on doing a lot of roaming. It's going to help him get to fights a lot quicker. It's going to help him out in skirmishes a lot. You lose the movement speed increase once you start fighting, but so long as you're just running around the map, not doing anything, you get a significant speed boost. And taking a look at the CS again, Vayne's starting to pull ahead of Caitlyn a little bit. Rango still very much ahead of Karma. The junglers are still even, and Ezreal is beginning to outfarm Zyra. And yeah, there's the dragon with the Nasus ulti. That is going to get burned down so fast. LoLdo faction is nowhere in position to contest this. So, well executed dragon. Really taking advantage of the LoLdo faction not being in position. That is something that the LoLdo faction has struggled with throughout this tournament. When they are losing or even, they tend to at times be caught out of position. So hopefully they got a close enough timer on that so that they can contest the next one. So yeah, taking a look at the junglers. Ooh, actually Nasus already has his completed jungle item. The general's probably close to finishing his. And Ezreal has indeed gone for a Tear of the Goddess, so he's just building a little out of order right there. He didn't really get a whole lot out of the Sheen, aside from maybe helping take Dragon a little faster, but he didn't really use it for the fights. Ooh. Kind of a panic ulti right there by Ezreal. Zyra easily dodging that. Karma very low on mana. She needs to be very careful. Oh, and here we go. Rengar's gonna go. Boom, boom. Oh, but he didn't have the rest of his abilities up, I think. Either that or he didn't want to risk tower diving. Speaking of diving, J4 going very hard to the bot lane. But Nasus' ulti is back up. They're going to try to kill off Nasus, but it's not working. Nasus is just living for too long. He finally does go down, but Sato has been exhausted, so he's gonna have to run, maybe? Because Soul Seizures doesn't really have a whole lot of mana, and Ezreal is on the way. He is low, but he does have... He probably would have enough damage to turn that around. So while that was all going on, Rango did take the top turret, which is nice. But still, the kills going in favor of Math Team. But for an objective, I would say that was still probably in the LoLdo faction's favor. But they need to be careful. They can't afford to fall too far behind in the kills. So far, as just straight up fights has been going, Math Team plus Nick has had the advantage. Another objective secured very nicely. That mid turret, very important. Caitlyn's gonna get this bot turret though. She could probably hit it a couple times and just start leaving right away. She did not have to stay there and finish that. She's actually kind of lucky that Vayne is so far away, because otherwise that could have been a potential all-in right there. Thresh did have flash up. So, approaching the 15-minute mark. These teams so far pretty evenly matched. There seems to be a little bit of miscommunication once again, like I said, on the LoLdo faction side. The fights have been a little bit split, and it seems like they're trying to improvise on the fly, and it's just really hard to improvise against Wither and Nasus ulti. So they either need to find a way to get Nasus out of the fight quicker, or get to the back line altogether. And, ooh, nice catch by the LoLdo faction. Nami getting caught out right there. Soulseekers tries to sidestep the tidal wave, but still gets hit by it anyway. But, yeah, the LoLdo faction just don't have the damage yet. Zyra only with a Chalice and a Seeker's Arm Guard. She does have an Amp Tome also, but that's still not a whole lot of AP. And Jarvan, of course, you know, building traditional tanky Jarvan, doesn't really have the damage to insta-jib, even the support yet. So that's a bunch of cooldowns burned, Stranglethorns burned, Cataclysm as well. So I don't know if they can hold this turret. We'll see if Math Team Plus Dick wants to continue the siege on this. As Rengar continuing to not be involved in the fights. They're just going to have him split push all day, it seems. Although technically, gold-wise, he is pretty farmed and pretty fed, even though he has no kills. Nice hook landing onto Caitlyn, but Vayne had just backed off, so nothing will come from that. And they will take yet another objective, evening the turrets at 3-3 and evening the gold as well. The next dragon will be very, very big. We'll see how that dragon dance goes. We'll see if it erupts into an all-out fight. But with the way that they've been playing it so far, and the LoLdo faction wanting Rengar to split push all the time, he may not even be there for the fight. So the LoLdo faction might not even be looking to fight that at this point. Which is interesting too, because usually when you have somebody split pushing all the time, the knee-jerk reaction is to send somebody on your team to go up there and match them so that they can't keep pushing and farming. But Math Team Plus Nick has decided to kind of ignore Rengar and just try to take objectives as a 5. And the dragon has finally respawned. But this time Rengar is in the area, so I see no reason why he wouldn't want to fight that. As a very nice catch onto KT Feint. Vayne flashing in very offensively. Nice flank by Rengar, catching them completely off guard right there. And it also prevented them from going hard onto Vayne. So now that they are down by basically 2 people, Karma is near death. They can't really contest this. Let's see if they want to make a play here. Nice hook onto Caitlyn. She's probably dead. And that's going to bait in the rest of the team. And yeah, this is a big turning point right now. What was an even game is now decidedly in the LoLdo faction's favor. That was a great hook from Sniper Worm. The purple team probably should have just ran, but I can understand the wanting to protect your teammate, excuse me. But yeah, nobody on the LoLdo faction went down right there, so that is a great pickup for them, and they got the dragon on top of that. So, now that the action has subsided, let's take a quick look at the items. Rengar with that Tiamat, which will be converted into a Ravenous Hydra, no doubt. And the Locket of the Iron Solari comboed in with the Ancient Golem item. Always a good combination right there. Especially with double AD. That shield's gonna really help them out. And the Unholy Grail being locked in by Zyra. Ooh, KT Garbage Bot caught exploring again as he drops a pink into that bush. Ezreal has finished his Iceborne Gauntlet. Caitlyn working towards that Infinity Edge, and Vayne already has Blade of the Ruined King on lock, along with the Zeal for more attack speed and more movement. We'll see which item he converts it into, whether it's going to be the Phantom Dancer or the Shiv. The Phantom Dancer really does benefit Vayne though a lot, not just in the stats it gives obviously, but the fact that it allows her to avoid unit collision. It's not something that you would think about that much, but it does make a big difference in certain situations. And yeah, so Math Team plus Nick are still not out of this. They just have to just turtle up for a little bit, play a little more solid. But we see that the two mids trying to outplay each other. And yeah, Zyra picks up a free kill 1v1 right there. Nice. Ooh, Jet the General was supposed to block that, but he didn't. Sniper Worm should still get out though and click the Lantern. Condemn, yes. So the chase is strong from Math Team plus Nick, but chasing is not good enough. Gotta get the kills. And wow. Instead of opting to push the inner turret with 4 people, Math Team plus Nick decides to back off and just defend their own waves in the top lane. With 4 members of Math Team plus Nick there, I probably would have liked to have seen them just try to push the turret down. They didn't really have a wave, but they probably still could have did it with 4 people there, and with Nasus. But I guess they just didn't want to burn their resources and risk getting low, because they probably would have had to pop Nasus ulti to do that, just to give them that extra help. But yeah, that was a very interesting 1v1 by the mids. You don't really see that too often anymore, where 2 mids just get to solo each other without any disruptions. Coming up a little bit past the 22-minute mark, 7-4 are the kills, and 31k to 28k is the gold difference. Not insurmountable by any means though, so... And the advantage in the skirmishes was going to Math Team plus Nick in the beginning. So if they can rally soon, before Vayne gets too many items, they could potentially still do this. I'm really interested to see how Karma's going to play a contribution to the fight as the game goes on. She's more of a poking champion / utility champion. The shields could definitely come into play though. Nasus with the more shields that you can give to Nasus, the better, because the longer he can just exist and be annoying. And yeah, Rengar still pushing by himself, just forcing responses now. Now they have to respond to him. And yeah, he is the most farmed on his team. He's most farmed in the game. So once he finally starts fighting, if he has to, he's going to be a problem. I don't think the Seeker's arm guards are going to do much to dissuade him from jumping on them. Once again, if you're just tuning in, this is the LoL Summer League playoff semifinals, brought to you by eSportsHI, streamed of course by the Udyr faction. I am DarkM on the mic. And this is game 1 between Math Team plus Nick on the purple side and the LoLdo faction in the blue. The last time these two teams squared off, it was a 2-0 victory by the LoLdo faction. I'm sure they would love to have another shutout and move themselves into the finals. But Math Team plus Nick may have something to say about that, so we shall see what happens. And the Dargon is once again backed up, and it will go right back down. Nobody in position to contest this on the purple side. True Shot Barrage does come down as an attempt for a YOLO steal, but nothing doing. And it looks like things are going to kind of revert back to how they were before that last big fight, where it's just going to be farm, push out the lanes, and try not to get caught. This time, though, I believe that if the LoLdo faction does catch out the support or something to that effect, the damage will be there this time, and they won't be able to just walk away. Okay, so Rengar looked like he was potentially gonna go split push. We'll see if he swings around or keeps split pushing after getting the red, because Math Team plus Nick is more or less grouped up now, as Ezreal securing the blue for himself. Zhonya's Hourglass is completed onto Zyra. The general going very, very hard. He's all by himself. Nice Strangle Thorns. He's going to catch a bunch of people. And here comes the rest of the LoLdo faction now. Oh, but the trap! The troll trap! And Rengar doesn't even get to do anything once he goes invis. That is unfortunate. But yeah, the general went very, very hard there, but still, they were just able to finish that fight. It looked like Math Team plus Nick was a little indecisive right there. They probably could have killed the general, but it probably would have cost them. So they probably just tried to run, but at that point it was too late. They also got knocked up by the Strangle Thorns, which was also a very big deal. If they had managed to avoid that, that probably would have saved them a lot of damage. So yeah, this team, the team comp doesn't look like it's working out very well for Math Team plus Nick. 0-3 Ezreal and a 1-3 Karma. Karma already, like I said, doesn't really have a lot of burst damage unless she's super farmed and has a lot of items. So the fact that she's behind at this point in the game is not a good sign. And she's going for the more cost-efficient items in the Morellonomicon and whatnot. So at this point, she's pretty much just going to be used to either kite or to help disengage with the shield and the speed ups. It's going to be very hard for Math Team plus Nick to get to the back line at this point. Sniper Worm is just going to protect Vayne and peel for her. And again, it was really unfortunate that Rengar didn't get to do anything right there. Good bubble by Nami to cover Caitlyn right there. Caitlyn needs to be a lot more careful about those hooks. That's like the second or third time she's gotten grabbed. Looks like Soul Seizures has opted for a blue pot. He knows that this next fight is going to be very big, so want to make sure that he has as much AP and CDR as possible. Ooh, Sneaky Thieves is a little low though, so I don't know how hard they're gonna go. They might just be looking to back off now that they've secured yet another tower. 6-3 now. Math Team plus Nick rapidly losing ground in this game. Taking a look once again at the items. Rengar now has the Black Cleaver to go along with his Hydra. Last Whisper certainly in the works now. Aegis coming out for the General, already completed on Nasus, who is 106 farm to 73. That's really going to be good for him. He needs as much of a gold advantage as he can get. But right now, the General is just doing such a good job of creating these fights for the team, and more importantly, using Cataclysm to either trap or zone characters. Nasus just isn't getting the time to exist anymore, putting down his ulti. And Phantom Dancer has been locked in for Vayne. She's very, very big now. Caitlyn still working on her Phantom Dancer, looks like. And the supports pretty much sticking to just wards. Not a whole lot of team items yet. Other than that, as we see, LoLdo faction posturing a little bit at this turret, and they do chunk about a third of it, so that is pretty successful. They get out with almost no damage. And they're retreating back towards the dragon, so it must be due for another spawn. Taking a look at some of the other builds, Ezreal still no mana immune yet. He's gonna have to get that as soon as possible because they need it. Math Team plus Nick needs all the damage spikes that they can get at this point. Okay, so the dragon has indeed respawned. That will go down free, no problem. And look, Rengar still split pushing. And it looks like the LoLdo faction will take everything that they can. The jungle is now effectively theirs with all the inner turrets down. And Math Team plus Nick might have been thinking Baron right there, so they were checking it just to make sure. Although to be honest, if the LoLdo faction had chosen to Baron at that point, it probably would have been gone anyway, so. But Sneaky Deebs does get caught out a little bit. Has to invis out that Wither though. So yeah, we have just passed about 31 minute mark. The LoLdo faction are solidly in control. We'll just see if they can find the right way to end this game. If they can get one more good fight out for them, that will probably be an inhibitor. Math Team plus Nick probably have one more fight left in them before this game kind of slips out of their hands. When you're this far behind in gold, 47k to 38, it becomes just kind of a thing where the minions are just too much for you and it's just too late. We will see though. Baron is now in the eyes maybe of the LoLdo faction. Baron has been known to be kind of a noob magnet. Big throws have been had just over Baron, so we'll see if the LoLdo faction can prevent that from happening. Okay, so far the LoLdo faction haven't really done anything yet. Oh, just as I say that, Rengar finds himself a target. He does manage to disengage that. Very nice tidal wave coming down, catching multiple targets. And Math Team plus Nick has to run. Here comes Rengar in from the side. Very nice pickup. That is a 3-for-0 once again. Oh, very nice hook by the Worm. Sniper Worm's gonna go down though. Rocket is not enough to save him. That is a 4-for-0, but they have no creep wave yet, so they have to wait. We will see how well Math Team plus Nick can hold this. The turret is at half, and Vayne is still alive. And yeah, that is definitely a dead tower. That could be a dead Karma as well. Should not have stayed. Should have just backed off. Not respecting the Jarvan flag. Yeah, and just like that, things going from bad to worse for our Math Team plus Nick. And a very nice call from the LoLdo faction, sending Rengar up there to make sure he gets the other turret. So I believe that is 2 inhibitor turrets down and 1 inhibitor for Math Team. And again, this is the point of the game where it's probably going to just spiral out of their control. They have no real safe way to contest Baron anymore without risk of losing their base. With a second exposed inhibitor, the creeps are going to be knocking on that very shortly. True Shot Barrage comes down just to check Baron. They see that they are not on it. But I don't really think that there's anything that Math Team plus Nick can do to force that. They probably don't have enough damage yet. And yeah, especially with the general being up still, the threat of the smite steal is there. And Vayne is just ridiculously huge right now, sitting on a Quicksilver Sash plus the cleanse. It's going to be very hard to lock her down. Wither is basically going to be wasted on her at this point. And the I guess the other is in case of the just insurance, I guess. Never hurts to have a second cleanse, I guess. And KT Feint needs to be very careful here. Rengar could go in at any time. And another beautiful hook by Sniper Worm. Caught with her pants down. Karma, I don't know if you could see the future or not, but you definitely did not see that coming. And that is a green light for Baron Nashor. Math Team plus Nick. They can't do anything about it. They have to respond to their base getting hit up by all those creep waves, as well as Rengar knocking on the door on the side. So that is a free Baron buff. LoLdo 57k to 43. This is a very convincing lead. And at this point, all the pieces have been set up. And I think the LoLdo faction are ready to make one final push. Yeah, and it looks like the LoLdo faction are about ready to possibly just end the game. They are knocking on this exposed inhibitor. Oh, bad positioning by purple team. You see how they all bunched up like that? That is not what you want to do versus J4. He got a clean knockup on at least 3 people. And a nice follow-up from the rest of his team. Rengar going down in the aftermath. But Vayne is still very much alive. She's going to try to lifesteal off these creeps. There's plenty for that. Vayne going very hard right there. Caitlyn's going to have to get back to the fountain and try to heal up because she can't do much at like 1/4 health. And yeah, she does go down. Very nice condemn into the side of the Nexus. The exclamation point on this victory, to say the very least. And the LoLdo faction will go up 1-0 in this race to 3 games. Very well played.